Hello, my deliciously twisted. Welcome back to the Velvet Crypt for another horrifying Tuesday. Tonight, we're digging into Tim Curran's Dollface, a tense little nightmare about six friends who try to get home after a night out and instead find themselves stuck inside a town that might not actually exist anymore. If you like your horror soaked in gaslighting, shifting realities, and the creeping sensation that your own senses can't be trusted, stick around. This one will give you that deliciously wrong feeling.
Welcome to the Velvet Crypt.
Content warning. This book contains violence, body horror, and sexual assault. On my intensity meter, it sits high on the dread scale. This isn't a roller coaster of jump scares, so much as slow burning, psychological squeeze that focuses less on what happens to these people in the moment and more on what keeps coming after them. If those are deal breakers for you, consider this a hard pass. If you're still here, I warned you. Dollface is available in paperback and digital formats. It clocks in at about 276 pages. It lives squarely in supernatural paranormal horror territory. The kind of book you read when you want your reality to wobble just a little and then tip over entirely. The story centers on a group of six friends: Chaz, Ramona, Sue Lee, Creep, Danielle, and Lex. They're an oddball mix of archetypes. You have the jock, the airhead, the voice of reason, coward, the engineering student, and the follower. They just want to get home after a night out that goes completely sideways, if not upside down completely. After a late night accident, possibly a hit and run, they wake up in a town that looks like something out of a postcard. Literally identical two-story houses, side by side, with spotless lawns, hedges trimmed to geometric perfection. Only the town is wrong. Streets loop back on themselves. Every turn leads to the same place. And behind the tidy facades on the surface, Dollface is about living dolls and the grotesque things that crawl out of the concept. Malformed Frankenstein-esque toys made of flesh and varnish. Can you tell I don't like dolls? Crawling and growing and hunting. But the real engine of the book is the way those dolls echo the characters' inner wounds. Each monster is less an external threat and more of an externalized fear or desire. A cruel mirror that shows what the characters are trying not to see. That's the central sting. Chaz carries the bruises of an abusive childhood and takes out that anger on his girlfriend, Ramona. Ramona tolerates and overlooks betrayals. Creep hoards a crush and refuses to speak up. Sue Lee seems to be carrying something darker, possibly suggesting sexual trauma. Lex is terrified of the inexplicable and clings to logic as a defense. The monsters don't just hunt them. They pick at those wounds until the group starts to unravel from the inside. Curran builds tension methodically. The book is a slow burn in tone, even when it darts into frantic sequences. Early on, you feel the uncanny repetition of the neighborhood. Every house is the same. Every street folding back on itself. You can't get out. And there's this constant sense that the world is subtly rearranging to keep the characters trapped. Then the siren starts, a reoccurring sound that signals the doll's approach. an audio cue that raises the stakes and the dread. The dolls themselves mutate, getting more distorted and eerily familiar in their perverse mimicry of human fears. By the end, you're in a full blown fun house of horrors where memory, worship, and ash are all braided together by some unseen creator. I really got a sense of Silent Hill, the video game, or movie if you watched it and enjoyed it, only with dolls. And well, fuck that.
The asylum.
What stuck with me the most is how sound and sensation are used as psychological shorthands. Tap, creak, clop, clip, clop, the thump. Those noises become almost characters themselves, each one marking a step towards someone either breaking down or steeling themselves to fight. The physical grotesquerie is memorable, but it's the way the monsters interact with the group's private guilt and shame that leaves the deepest mark. The emotional aftermath is vicious and oddly, oh, what's the word for it? Hypnotic? When the last page closes, you don't feel neatly tied up. You feel watched, waiting for that siren to cry out again. If you're like me and have an unhealthy dislike for dolls, this will burrow under your skin and stay there. Tone-wise, if you enjoy Jeff Long or Richard Paul Russo's darker speculative work, Dollface will likely sit comfortably on your shelf next to them. If you want grotesque, atmospheric, supernatural horror that doubles as a psychological study, give Dollface a shot. I'd score it an 8 out of 10 for atmosphere, concept, and the way it toys with perception. There's a link down below to buy it if you want to take the plunge. If you like this discussion, like, subscribe, and toll the bell so you don't miss the next descent. Want to linger in the shadows with other horror fans? Join our Discord. Link is in the description. Until next time, good night, and try not to answer if you hear soft, insistent tapping at the window.